Yes, hello, hello, hello. Larissa, thank you so much. Welcome, guys. Welcome to this absolutely free, absolutely no bullshit webinar. I'm laughing because it's nice to see my name here. It says Reef, she, her. I hope you're a friend doing this. And I wonder who you are. Teacher Naz, hi from the car. Okay, please take care along the way. Ingat sila sa kalsada. Ingat sila sa'yo. Okay, welcome guys. I encourage you guys to open up your cameras. Why? Because it's this virtual thing, this digital space is the best we got. And opening our cameras would, add that human connection to it. So once again, thank you and good morning to you all. Before we move on to anything further about this webinar, I'd like for us to ground ourselves. So take your seated position, very relaxed. Let's find a really good position wherein you are straightening up your back. We're gonna take a breather for just 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, so lengthen up your spine. When you lengthen up your spine, feel as if a string is pulling you from the top of your head. All right, relax your shoulders. Okay, we're gonna take 2 deep breaths. First of which, you fill it up, and then you squeeze another one, and then you sigh it out. For your inhales, make sure you're breathing in from your belly first, and then moving it up to your ribs, and then your chest. And then the squeeze one, you're just putting like an extra 20%, so a total of 120% lung capacity before you exhale it out. All right, together in 3, 2, and 1. Fill it up. Here we go. Inhaling, squeeze one and hold, and sigh it out. 2 more times, slower, and if you can pull in more air, go ahead. Inhale, slower, squeeze one and hold, and you sigh it out. What a beautiful morning. One more time, third, slowest and deepest. Here we go. Inhale, squeeze one and hold for 5, 4, 3, feeling grateful and joyful. Thank you, everyone. Exhale. Relax. Okay, shake it off. Shake your hands off, up and down. Stretch if you may, if you like. There's so much in store for you in this webinar. Okay, so what is this free no bullshit webinar all about? Why did we create this? We created this because we wanted to put a clear list for the people to choose from, because there's a out of the sea of wellness practices, people are struggling to find what is the best for them. Is this practice for me? Is it stretching in the morning or breath work? Which one comes first? How should I breathe if I so choose to do breath work first? How should I do a 5-minute workout or a 5-minute stretching? Which really fits for me? That is the question we're trying to answer here. So feel free. The chat is open. You are more than welcome to ask us any questions. So I'm going to introduce the 3 coaches that we have so far in this webinar. It's Coach Spider, Coach Martin, and Teacher Martin. They are going to be the ones who will lead you to these beautiful practices, and you will see the difference between the 3, and then feel free to combine them. And if something doesn't match with you or something really resonates with you, show some appreciation. The chat is open once again, and that's we just really appreciate sharing these disciplines and designing crafting programs that fit well for the people, because at the end of the day, other than us doing these wellness practices for ourselves, it's really for the people to share this great energy and frequency to the people, and be in the same radio channel. Basically, that's it, the radio channel of just understanding each other, overflowing with love and care and kindness and generosity. That is the world we want to live in. And so slowly, with these practices, let's see what fits your shoes. So yeah, thank you so much for showing up today. I'm gonna introduce to you our first coach, but before that, I would like for you to know that other than for this webinar and us teaching you, if you already want to level up in your practice, if you already know, or if you already are very much interested in crafting or owning your own practice and really committing to it, we are inviting you to come to our retreat headed by the same three coaches and teachers that will teach you today in the webinar and then in the retreat happening December 14 and 15. It's priced at 36,450 for an amazing experience filled with all of these wellness and well-being practices, really immersing yourself in the greatness of it all and reaping all of these benefits and fitting it to your lifestyle. So that's it. Welcoming our first coach for tonight, umaga tonight, for this morning. Please welcome Coach Spider. I know this guy from being such a good example in terms of his relationship with his body and his relationship with food and his discipline with just being an amazing coach and an amazing student. This guy has been in the athletic performance industry and just crushing it. So please welcome Coach Spider. Coach Spider, please open up your camera and say hi to the people. And everybody, please show your love and welcome Coach Spider over here at the chat. Please go ahead.
Hello, guys.
Hello, hello.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see, we're all in the same place right now. So we're coordinating this Zoom call from the living room that Reef made, if you can see, right? Look at that, amazing. Anyhow, hello. My name is Coach Spider. Thank you for that introduction, Reef. Hello, everyone. Thank you for making it over, spending your time with us this Sunday morning. Is the sound okay? Can everyone hear me okay?
All good,
Everyone. Yes.
brother. Keep on going,
All
man.
right.
Good. All
Yes.
good.
Lovely,
Thank you.
lovely. All right. So I like how Reef put it. Each of us have our different mediums that we teach that help us stay optimized, and it's about knowing that everyone isn't. It's not a one size fits all, and how we all have to be students of theory and be able to experience different things that work for us and that don't work for us. So having this array of different coaches, different perspectives allows us to absorb and expand even more and give us opportunities to experience wellness in different settings in different ways. So thank you for allowing us to share our practices with you, and thank you for being open to it. All right, so I'll be starting off by teaching two exercises. So my background is I used to be a professional athlete. I'm now a coach, just not only for basketball but also a yoga teacher. So I've been able to create an interplay between my practice as a yoga teacher and basketball and a professional basketball player as well, right? And it was always about optimizing. I was always about optimizing and finding the most efficient way to be an athlete. And now that I'm not an athlete anymore, I find that I'm I'm left always optimizing as well, right? And I've that has led me to the body and different practices that have helped me ground, that have helped me become a better person, not only on the mat but outside the mat, not only on the court but outside the court. So this is my journey, sharing it with you guys. Um, Take what you will, ask questions, be curious. I'm not very comfortable speaking too long. So if anyone has questions or wants to kind of chime in, please go ahead. Reef, save me when you can. But
Of course,
I'll
my
be
friend.
teaching. So I'll be teaching two exercises today. Um, so one will be just a light nasal breath, which we're going to call feather breathing, right? Which my methodology that I learned, we call feather breathing. And essentially, it's just nasal breathing, right? But it's so simple, but yet profound. As Reef also knows, this is the same way he teaches as well. But essentially, we're just keeping the breath light, silent, and deep. So think about those three acronyms: light, silent, and deep, right? And how you embody that is you want to imagine that when you're breathing in through your nose, right, that the nose hairs are barely moving. That's how light we want to be breathing, right? And what we're doing here is we're reducing our air volume or the volume of air that's coming in. And what that's doing is it's creating a biochemical adaptation, a favorable biochemical adaptation. And what that means is we're creating a great balance between the blood gases, which is optimizing oxygen exchange in the body. And what that does is what that does a number of benefits is it soothes the nervous system. So anytime we feel in disarray, right, we can go back into the breath and we can say, we can take inference of it. If I'm feeling anxious, is my breath upper chest, right? Am I breathing more than I need to? Or if it is that way, I have the ability to bring my body down into a more relaxed state. All right. So this breathing method is something that we can use for that. I like people taking away that whenever I teach that you are always in control of your biological levers. So let's go ahead and start with that first. Just a couple of breaths, light, silent, and deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. So if we're sitting down, right, making sure that we're grounded down on the sit bones, being pulled from the crown of the head so that there's a lengthening in the spine. And we're slowly keying into the breath and how it is entering in through the nose and out through the nose. Before anything, anyone that's driving, let's be careful with this. Stay alert, right? But just let's just observe the breath as we're taking it in. Now, if you start to feel a little bit of air hunger, right, that's completely fine. Again, like I said, this is a adaptation that's happening in the body. You're creating a buildup of CO2 in your body, and think about it as resistance training, right? You're training yourself to be more resilient to that air hunger and teaching your body how to self-regulate. If you start to have contractions in the diaphragm, that means you've gone too far. Take a maybe 20 seconds, relax, and then just come back into that breath. If you notice that you start to salivate, right, that's your body's way of indicating that you have come into a more parasympathetic state. You can actually check your watches if you have a a smartwatch, you'll see maybe you've dropped your heart rate has dropped down a little bit. Okay, so from the reduced air volume, or sorry, the feather breathing, right? That's one method. Okay, you're focusing on lengthening the exhalation and reducing your air volume, right? The other method I'm going to use is through breath holds. So small breath holds, okay? So listen to my instructions. I'm going to have you inhale through your nose, slow and relaxed. Inhale through your nose, and a slow and relaxed exhale through your nose. On the exhale, I'm going to have you hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to breathe normally. All right. Now, you can play around with 5 seconds on the exhale or 3 seconds, depending on what your comfort level is. All right. We're just gently creating adaptations in the body through the breath hold. Now, we're usually holding the breath hold on the inhalation. That has its benefits as well. But what I want to create here is you having that better relationship with air hunger, right? So we're slowly introducing that in bits and pieces, right? There's a certain progression to it, and this is one of the progressions to what we're trying to do. So once again, inhale through your nose. Exhale, slow and relax. Exhale through the nose. Hold in the exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once again, start to breathe normally. Now, what I'm doing is I'm doing a 5-second hold on the exhale with a 10-second buffer in between. All right. So people that have higher higher respiration rates have time to kind of recover, right? Again, just gentle, progressive adaptations. Once again, inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose, slow and relax exhale, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to breathe normally. All right. So I noticed, I checked my watch from I was about 80. I'm at around 72 to 70 beats per minute, right? And what that's telling me is I'm more in control of my biology than I'm led to believe, right? Knowing that I always have this tether, I always have this lever I can come into, and it can allow me to maintain sovereignty in whatever experience I'm experiencing, whether I'm in traffic and someone cuts me off and I feel I'm in a reactive state. The breath or understanding of it gives me a bit of that buffer time, that space in between uh, stimulus, stimulus and reaction. So I'm able to make a more intelligent, non-objective, rational decision. So, all right. So after these two practices, how do you guys feel? Can anyone put in the chat or even just um, voice it out? Anyone? Calmer. Lovely. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you,
That
Coach
was
Spider.
the
Actually, I have
desired
a
effect.
question while people are typing down how they feel.
Yes, yes,
My
please. I'm not used to the silence. No,
no.
let's
I'm
go,
just
bro.
I'm generally curious about these things, even though I'm a practitioner. I'm
Please,
also
dude.
practicing that kind of
Please.
openness, and
Yes,
um,
of
despite
course.
the familiarity with the practice, how
Yes.
when exactly would you, like, if you're a doctor right now, how would you list
Mhm,
down this kind of prescription? So you taught us the LSD, the light,
mhm.
slow and deep breathing, and then
Yes.
the second one is
Breath
holding
hold.
your breath, the breath, the series of breath holds after exhale.
Mhm.
Can you
Yes.
differentiate your prescriptions for each? Is it better in the morning for this one, or which one is better for when you're triggered, or someone
Mhm.
cuts you off in EDSA or in C5, or when you're distracted? What is either good for sleep? So what do you recommend for those things, so we can
They're
list it down?
both down. They're both down regulatory exercises. I
Got
feel
it.
like the reducing of air volume is a down regulatory exercise, but it's also an exercise I use both in my physical practice and my yoga practice, right? So think about the breath when it's light, silent, and deep, right? Let's actually just try it right now. If we take a breath that is audible, right? It's audible. What rises first? The chest is what rises first, right? It's not as pronounced as if it's a mouth breath, like the mouth breath. That's really chest. That's what's going to orient the body through the chest. Now, if let's take a light, silent, and deep inhale where the breath is almost imperceptible. Like try to make it a game where the body or the rib cage is barely moving. You can barely feel it. You'll notice it happens more from the middle of the diaphragm, the middle of the torso, which is where the
Yes.
diaphragm, your primary breathing muscle, is located. So with the breathing through the nose and reducing that air volume, you're creating that sorry, it's going to be a lot, but you're creating the adequate amount of intra-abdominal pressure for the diaphragm to create the best and most anatomically congruent inhalation. Sorry, that was a lot.
No
But
worries.
essentially, it allows you to make the best, actually, essentially focusing on the exhale instead of the inhale makes the inhale inversely better. So we always try to think, take a deep breath, right? Which is also there. But if you want to take a real deep breath, focus on exhale first, and then the inhale happens in a more natural manner. So I would say the feather breathing is really good for training the diaphragm. Now the breath holds is um more for like if you feel that onset of like I'm breathing heavy, right? It's a way to reduce your respiratory rate, and you'll notice as you do probably a minute to 2 minutes, it's the quickest that gets your heart rate down. So I would say the breath hold is good for down regulation, the best, right? And then the feather breathing is good for more also down regulating, but functional breathing and also focused breathing, right? Keeping you like on your breath, keeping you focused, keeping your will at one thing. Sorry, that was a lot.
No worries. Thanks, coach. Actually, how I
Yeah.
see it now is that parang just like some people here who are attending are actually in driving, like Teacher Naz and Victor here. Hi pala, Victor.
That's
Thank you
why.
for coming in.
That's why.
So
What's up, Victor?
this is perfect actually because when you breathe loud, like yung example na ginawa mo kanina, if you breathe uh an audible breath, yung ganon, and the chest moves up, that's simulates that simulates your hyperventilation, right? Or like over breathing. But just like a car, if a car is noisy, if you're stepping on the gas but the gears are unmatched, then you are wasting gas. Same thing for a person who is hyperventilating when you don't need to, or basically over breathing when you don't need to. You know,
Well,
an efficient car, an efficient engine would be silent even if it's lightning fast, instead of a very loud car that's wasting a lot of energy and combusting all of that gas. So
yeah.
that's
Coach Reef,
kind
you're
of how
speaking
I
my
see.
language. Amazing. Sorry, I
Yeah,
had
thank
to
you
just
for
had
for
to
your
say.
exercises. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
so that's feather breathing. I'm typing it down. Everybody please type it down with me.
Thank you,
Feather
sir.
breathing. And then the other one is
It's just I don't really there's
small
no
breath
real name for
holds.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
small
so
breath
small breath
holds.
holds on the
Yeah,
exhalation. Yes.
yeah. I'm asking you guys to type things down with me, because when you type things down, you kind of remember it more, because since we're not taking notes or journaling, it's not like a seminar with a workbook. This is the best we got by typing it down. And when we do something physical, it sticks to the brain more. That's the awesome thing. Oh, hey, Chino. Welcome, welcome. Okay, Coach Spider. Thank you so much for that. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, I was meaning to ask you this, because uh, I I look up to how I look up to how you are so a high performing individual, but at the same time you're very humble. And so I wanted to ask you just very quickly. Let us know how, uh, have you always been like this, na you're high performing, and you have to be humble to navigate through it all, or was there an asshole version of you before that we all don't know?
Oh my gosh.
Because
All
you
right.
look like one.
That's amazing. No, no, honestly, I
I
think
love
I'm
you and
this
you're
way
my friend,
because
but I gotta ask
no,
this.
bro, no, no, no. It's for real. No, I feel like I am like this because I came from um being like an athlete, high performing athlete, and having a lot of expectations that were put on me, right? And
Mhm.
not having the tools to be able to kind of ground and self regulate. So it manifested and projected in different ways in my rambunctious um, behavior on the court and off the court. I was a wild animal essentially, right? And I was in a very like I didn't even understand. Victor put in the boxing ring. Come on, man. um, but yeah, just so I think I've slowly built myself up, and I've learned to kind of, let go of that version of me. Understanding that version of me was a necessary experience for me to kind of be able to play with the contrast, right? I don't think I would have gotten to the space of wellness or trying to optimize my body and my mind, creating a holistic synergy between it if I didn't experience the bad, or if I didn't experience a falling from grace, as you might call it, because like um I wasn't the healthiest, or like we talk about how athletes have discipline. I didn't necessarily have the best discipline. I really didn't, and I had to learn it through another structure aside from basketball. I think I learned it from yoga, and that was something I was able to kind of carry on into the different facets of my life, right? It's not perfect, but any practice is never perfect. You have days where you have it, you have days where you don't, right? But the consistency is what allows us to expand into the potential of what we can become and what we continue to become. So,
That's amazing.
um, yeah.
Wow. That's very well said.
Thank
Buti
you,
na lang,
sir.
naka-record
Thank you,
tayo.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Turn
And I
that
just
into
want
a
to
reel
say,
when you're famous.
oh my God, man. I just want to say, like, before all this, me and Reef, we met. I think we were kind of getting into the breathwork scene a lot when it was around the same time, the lockdown. Teacher Mosh introduced us, and I was on a different path at that time. I was very much with the Wim Hof, and that was my introduction to the breathwork scene. But Coach Reef was one of the first people that introduced me to the concept. Like he gave the whole biochemical balance and whatnot, and it was a different perspective that I was able to play with eventually, and then move deeper into, and thought that it resonated with me. So thank you for that, Coach Reef. And
Of course.
man, I'm grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you too. Thank you so much for that. Guys, please share, give some appreciation and some gratitude to Coach Spider over here. He said he was a wild animal. Trivia:
Yeah.
spiders are not insects. They're little animals, if hindi nyo pa alam yun. So yeah. Now, Coach Spider is not a wild spider. He is a a beast that has tamed himself, who has increased his capacity so as to not be that person who explodes because he cannot handle his emotions, he cannot handle adversity. Now he's made himself to be someone who can handle this and even coach people through it. Thank you so much for that, Coach Spider. To introduce to
Thank
you
you, brother.
our next person. Before that, because the next two people that I'm going to introduce to you are basically these people who have similar stories, maybe even graver, depending on how you resonate with them. But these human beings, that the reason why they're coaches and teachers is because they've gone through necessary things that they know would help people, and they know that would get people stuck if no one would pick them up from there. And they've been through that, and that's why we're sharing all of these practices with you, and not just practices. Instead of just giving you, a paper, a sheet of paper with all the instructions, no, we're giving you also this human aspect to it, wherein we share our stories, and maybe you would resonate with that too. So let's take all of that in with gratitude, thanking Coach Spider again. Let's take a big breath in 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in, everyone. Holding and sighing it out. One more time. Let's just reset. Inhale. Holding and sighing it out. All right. To introduce to you another person who has increased his capacity to share and give and be grateful and forgive himself, others, and to be able to navigate the world with a better lens, from coming from someone, a previous version of himself that he is not, not that now he honors, but is now not so uh, uh, avoidant with it. Basically, he's made a great relationship with his previous self, making him an even better person today. Please welcome Coach Martin. Coach Martin, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you,
over here.
Coach Reef.
Please give some love to Coach Martin, guys. Say hi, say thank you, say congratulations for staying alive, something like that. I'm grateful for you. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take it away, Coach Martin. What will you teach us today?
All right. So first of all, thank you to Coach Spider. Love you, brother, for just putting yourself out there. So I love that he shared a workshop type. Mine will be a little different. My background is more on life coaching, so this will be a bit more of storytelling. But I'll also be sharing a tool that you can use as well. If you're listening on audio, on the move, driving like that, don't worry. You can just watch the replay. Unmute if you want to engage. I want this to be more fun. So I'll just share my screen, Reef, and then feel free also to just chat or unmute. So it's more fun, our interaction. Okay, there we go. So let me know if you see my screen, because all I see is, yeah, your video tab thing. There you go. I see the chat pop up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get to it. My name is Martin. Who am I? Some of you may have seen me from some years ago, 3 years. I created Real Talk Lifeline, and it's about real, raw, and authentic conversations. And this is what we're going to do today. I'll also leave some tools so you can use it immediately right after in your life. So let's make it practical as well. Who am I in the first place? So this is a little storytelling with some visuals. I just, prepared this. So I was born in 1987. For those who can see, that's me with my grandma. I grew up in Pilar Village, Las Piñas. So later on, we moved to Alabang in a few years after. So my story is I followed the narrative. So I went to this all boys school. I went to university, like a straight path. Did 5 years. I got a master's degree. So people in the chat or watching, you can type also. Maybe you had has a similar path and you can guess, did Martin live happily ever after? So you can type Y, letter Y for yes, or you can type N for no if you want to guess what happened. Just to make it more fun. This is for people right here on the live with the webinar. Of course, in the replay you can chat as well. So you can make a wild guess. So I am not against education. So yeah, Pam said no. Matcha said no. Mark said yes. So it's a mixed answer. So education did help me to a degree. So I took a job. So I applied. So this was my first one, 3 years. It's a local company. It's like a local version of FedEx, and it's a umbrella group of companies. So I worked in a waste management company for my first job. It was really humbling. This was like portable toilets, medical waste, infectious waste, and industrial waste. So I worked there for 3 years, from the ground up, trainee, supervisor, manager. And then this is me today. So I just went on 10 years. I just went on 10 years, and then this is my background more on financials, as you could see. So it leads to this. So my mission over here. So I'll share a bit more about this, but as you follow me on my journey in my profile, you'll usually see that as my cover photo. So why am I sharing this? So we learn a lot from people's successes, but I also believe that we learn from people's failures or challenges in life. So I'm gonna share with you a few of mine. I believe this is five, right? And it's gonna be related to the workshop I'm gonna do in a bit. So the first major challenge of my life happened when I was a teenager. So let me update that. That's like a Bill Shock photo. So I was around 14, 15 years old this time. my life savings, just so you know, at the time was around 6,000 pesos. I wasn't eating food just to save like allowance or money on the side. So what happened was I started calling my girlfriend back then using the landline, just to make the long story short. And then the phone bill came in for the month and it was 12,000. So here, people, you could type in the chat, uh, how many of you experienced either running out of money or you had a problem with money and it affected areas of your life? So I see Coach Spider smiling, So this one had a direct effect on my love life because she was my first girlfriend. I only had half of the money to pay for it. And this is the worst thing that happened. See Match's reaction also. So what happened was her parents found out. Long story short, my parents talked to her parents and then they made her pay the phone bill along with me. So like we split it. So running out of money had a traumatic effect on me growing up. The next one is related to self-esteem. So around high school, my front tooth actually got popped off. So there was this kid running in the hallway, grade school, smashes his head right into my mouth, and then I had to go to the dentist. It was a capping at first. I wore a denture throughout high school, I believe. Like here in the Philippines, they call that pustiso, like for the lolos, like that. Um, so it was embarrassing because one time I was laughing so hard, my tooth flew out. So if any of you can relate, if you have a missing part of yourself, right, and it's visible, it's hard, right? I went through that actually in high school, college. Up to this day, it's a bridge now, my tooth. The third one is more of health related, but this was a test of character for me. So if any of you know what this is, you could type in the chat as well. So I didn't know. This was probably back in college or a fresh graduate for me. The first time I found this out, I was active, physically active with my partner at the time. And hey, this is a no bullshit webinar, right? So I was sexually active. So when I found out this thing from the doctor, they said that I had herpes. So I thought I had this incurable disease. And I was very OC, hypochondriac. I didn't want to get infected or infect other people. So I felt like I was a monster actually. And I didn't know how to break it actually to my partner as well that time. So that really tested me to the core. Long story short, I took medicine. Shingles is called herpes zoster. So it's kind of like chicken pox. So it took time for me to get through this ordeal. It also had nerve damage and it left a scar in me. So the fourth one, relationship breakups. For those of you can relate, what is this? So the first one I went through was 1 year. The relationship after that was 9 years, which ended in 2014. So good news for you guys this year. It finally took me 10 years to get closure, but I got it eventually. So that was one of the biggest challenges of my life, and it took a big part of my life. And then the last one over here is actually just feeling lost in life. So some of you may have seen that financial background, all this and that. You look perfect on the outside. So what many of you may not know is I'm actually also at a point in my career where I'm at a crossroads. So I actually don't really know what my future will be. It's uncertain. So what helped me, right? Because I just want to get to the point. So to get to that, I'm actually gonna stop my screen sharing first, very shortly. And I'm gonna draw something for you guys. If you want to know a tool that can also help you guys as well. So I'm gonna draw something here. Some of you may say it's a cross, but it's 4 quadrants. So I'm just gonna, there you go, back there. I'm gonna draw 4 figures over here. So what I'm gonna ask you also is, So for those who could see it, let me know. So the first one over there. So this one represents the body, right? It's our health. I'm gonna draw next one over here. So the heart, that one represents our relationships. The next one I'm gonna draw over here, the triangle, but let that represent money, your mind, or sometimes for you, it's your career in life. Lastly, the last part over here, that circle down here, let that represent your soul, your spirit. For some of you, it's your deeper or higher purpose in life. So very quickly, since we don't have much time in this webinar, I want you to rank or write a number where you're at in life. So while you're there in the chat, you can just put their health, relationships, right? Career, money, like that, or your purpose, right? Your mission, like that. Write a number. And I'm really curious, right? Because I went through this in a life coaching seminar. So super quick, while some of you guys, thanks, Mark. So health, wealth, relationships, and your spirit. My health right now, I would say, is a 6 or a 7, I would say. My relationships right now, much better. I would say I'm at like I'd say I'm at a 6, around the 6 level. My career, I would say I'm at a 4, just because of what I explained already. And then my mission, my purpose, that one, I would say I'm closer. I'm at an 8, and an 8 higher. That was actually one of my lowest a few years ago. So why am I asking you? And it's okay if you put there a question mark. I see matches, super good. The reason why I'm asking you is, one, it's for awareness. Some of you may see, I'm gonna stop this just for a bit, my virtual background. There you go. I'm gonna put it back on in a bit. So why am I asking you this when you know your numbers? One is try to sense which is the lowest, and that can be your focus, like where we put all our time and energy needed. For me, after that breakup, my relationships was like at a 2, almost at a 1, the lowest level. When I say relationships here, it doesn't just mean your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your ex-wife or ex-husband, like that. It can also mean relationship with yourself. That was the biggest breakthrough actually that I learned. So I see some here like Pam got really high ratings, 10s. So if the lowest one over here, which is your mind, your money, or your career, is an 8, my question for you is, how can you make that a 10? So very, very simple, like for that workshop. So in Pam's example, it's easier because the focus is there. For some of us, Matcha, for even Coach Reef, we might have multiple areas to work on. So I'm gonna just share my screen back again because I did ask a question, well, what helped me? So you have a guide, but then what else can I do to help myself? So sharing back here again, one thing that did help me was support, or you can call this community, a support group like that. And I want to share this. I know halfway I'm going to have to blitz through the remaining, but Coach Reef did mention Sagara Sons, and it's a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and we can connect and actually help you find people or a community to support you with that, support you with the areas of life that you're dealing with. Could be your health, it could be your wealth, it could be your relationships, it could be your spirit, meaning your purpose. Some of you are soul searching out there. So how many of you here want a teaser of this? What could happen? Now, of course, I'm not gonna you could type in the chat, if yes, right, like bring it on if you want a little more. I'm gonna go through this very fast, of course, but I can give you a teaser of what Sagara Sons could be like for you. Of course, I'm not going to be sharing the actual workshops in person. So that's something I highly recommend you guys to sign up and join. The somatic practices, as you can see over there, and the others. So if you do want to go down the rabbit hole with me, very quickly, just type yes. If not, don't worry. I can stop right here and bring you to the next speaker, Teacher Mark. So I know that his sharing will definitely blow you guys away. So Coach Reef, just let me know. I could just stop right here already.
Go right ahead, coach.
All right, so I'm gonna go through this very quick. What helped me over here? You could see like a montage, a collage of stuff over here. I'm gonna go through them very, very quickly. I already mentioned community or support as one. So I did seminars, I did a lot of other practices, mentors, life coaching, and you can see the 4 areas of life. So I'll go through them in my 5 life challenges. For money, one of the things that really helped me very quick, of course, this could be like a hours and hours of conversation, but in a few seconds or minutes, I took a money mindset seminar in 2018. Why was this a big help for me? At that point, I did this $1 million round table. I was earning around 1 million in 2016. I was 29 years old. 2017, 2018. The strangest thing was I spent half of that money, my savings, in one day. So I bought a motorcycle, big bike in the casa, and then I had really bad imposter syndrome. I felt like it took a lifetime to build all this money, and it can be taken away in just 1 or 2 days. So when I took this money mindset seminar, it made me more stable. That was the biggest thing. It helped me. Why am I sharing this? Money trauma, running out of money, right? Number 2 for self-worth. So I'll just say this very quick. You can go skydiving if you want. You can get into motorcycles, do something you love, right? But Tony Robbins has this line, and I love it. It's about self-esteem. He said, self-esteem does not come from what other people say to you. Have you ever met someone who was good looking or she was beautiful, and no matter how many times you said that to her, whenever she looked at the mirror or he looked at the mirror, his self-talk was, I'm ugly. I'm a worthless piece of shit. If any of you can relate. So self-esteem is earned within you. It comes from doing something that is incredibly difficult to you, and no one else knows it, but you know it. So that is one of the biggest aha moments for me when I learned what self-esteem was. It's doing the impossible for you, not according to what other people say. And that helped me over the years. So the third one, health. So again, you saw my situation before. Part of it is physical, but there's also a mental, emotional, and then even down to a spiritual aspect. So this is something I learned, especially 3 years ago when teacher Mark actually taught me, he's my ice bath teacher, certain somatic practices. So you'll also learn that in Sagara Sons, by the way. So it's health on all levels, right? Physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Relationships, the breakups. So the one lesson just straight to the goddamn point here is, who am I on a date with here in this photo? If any of you can guess. So one thing I learned someone who was codependent. So I learned that. So thank you. So teacher Mark said yourself. Before, when I was in that 9-year relationship and prior, I couldn't even go out and have coffee by myself. So I learned that term more recently. They call those solo dates. So I didn't even love my own company until recently. So that was something I had to learn from my relationship challenges and trauma. Lastly, higher purpose. So what is this sign? I saw this one time in a mall walking. Higher purpose or mission. For me, what I learned is it's to love people even in their ugliest moments. It's to help someone when no one can even help you back in return, but you still do it anyway. So that higher purpose will actually serve as a North Star for us. This is the reason why I'm actually doing this webinar for free for you guys, because I did find my mission in life. It was in 2019, and it has been evolving since. And this is why I'm collaborating with Coach Spider, with Coach Reef, Teacher Mark, and doing this for you guys. So lastly, I'm heading towards the end of my slides. Some of you guys, some of you guys will say, well, what if I don't find my community yet, right? What if I don't have access to so many people? This is my sharing, one person. So this was back in July 2016. I wish one of you guys could read this. Coach Reef, can you help me actually with this? Can you read this quote over here? Just this one, the one in the middle.
Sure, coach. It says there, you are a success when you give hope to the hopeless, love the unlovable, and are pleasant to the grouch, courteous to the rude, and generous to the needy.
Thank you, Coach Reef. So why I'm sharing this is someone did that for me. In July 2016, I was in a very low place. I was ready to go. So for those who can relate. So this person, the part of my ego feels shy or ashamed to share this, but the other side of my heart has nothing but appreciation and love, like pure love for this. This was the closest I've experienced to an angel or God I started to see in people. So this person said that, and you never know when a moment or a few sincere words can impact a life forever. That thing, that conversation, that message didn't just help me become $1 million round table. It saved my life that year. Now I'll end with this, my last slide. When I saw this, it reminded me, and I'll end with this line. Some of you see things there. Your community, it doesn't have to be men only, doesn't have to be women only, it doesn't have to be Chinese, Filipino only, right? It says Memento Mori. The first webinar we did last week, what I would say is life is too short. Pardon. So life is too short. So what I'm gonna end with is this. Someone did it for me. I'll end with this line. If you have got through life because of someone, let someone get through life because of you. Thank you. Back to you, Coach Sharif. So we have time to end with our last speaker, Teacher Mark.
Grave, coach. Thank you so much for that. That was so profound, and that was so. Eto pala. That was so very much vulnerable, and I appreciate you for being that and taking on that role. Exactly why we do this now is because we want to create space that is safe for everyone, especially the masculine. Kasi especially us men, it's hard for us to do this. And so, but with you being vulnerable like that, you just became an example. And I sincerely hope a lot of people would know your story more and how you deliver your story. There's so much certainty and then being okay with all the uncertainty moving forward. And it just shows how much you're just doing your best. And I appreciate that in you. So thank you. Guys, please send some love to Coach Martin here. Say thank you, Coach Martin, dito sa chat natin. We're just 10 people here. So it would really be, it would go far to even have or receive some gratitude for just one person from just one person. So yeah, thank you, Coach Martin. Um, damn, that was profound. That was profound. Na speechless tuloy ako. Thank you. All right. Let's all take it all in. Let's take a big breath in three, two, and one. Let it sink in. And sigh it out. One more time. Here we go. In. And you go sigh it out. Last time. Here we go. In. And you go sigh it out. Exhale. Shake it off. Stretch it out. You're going to need it for this next person. His name is Coach Mark. But if ever you guys are resonating deeply with all of the things that you've been hearing over here, what you've been witnessing, these men who are just sharing their stories and sharing these tools that made them better people and continue to do so, we invite you to come over to our retreat happening this December 14 and 15. It's going to be an overnight thing. It costs 36,450, but if you stay put, we have an insane offer for you guys. It's so funny. It's so funny because the offer is just so parang what the hell. So yeah, stick around for especially for Coach Mark. So thank you, Coach Spider, and thank you, Coach Martin. Now introducing you to our next amazing speaker. This human being is sobrang human niya, para na siyang alien. When I met this person, I remember feeling as if, wow, this a human being like this exists. The his energy meeting me. I was a stranger. I reached out to him. He already was filled with support, and I could feel it in him without him saying it. And he embodies this kind of support, and that's why I want to. It made me genuinely feel like I want to support this person as well, thus this webinar. And so this is an example, this webinar is an example of this shared support that doesn't need to be even spoken of course. If it's spoken of, it's amazing, but it's that powerful that it's beyond words. So please welcome Coach Mark Beltran.
Thank you so much, Coach Reef.
Of course.
I just wanted to start sending out some gratitude. I just wanted to say, man, like that support, I really mirror that, and I give it back to you, to Spider, and to Martin. So I wanted to say super just gratitude, overflowing gratitude for you, Coach Reef, Martin, and Spider. You guys make this webinar possible, and the space that we're trying to create is not so lonely. Trying to create it because I have you guys with me as well. So to Breathwork PH as well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everybody also that has tuned in here, thank you so much for coming and watching. Um, the support is so invaluable. With that, I'll get right to it. I'm gonna share my screen here, give you a little presentation. All right. Yeah. Right. Here we go. Who is Magic Mark? So I'll be sharing my story with you today. Magic Mark, that's what people call me. That's what I've been known for the last 15 years. I am a world traveler, performer, magician, and illusionist before I became a yoga teacher and mindfulness coach and cold immersion therapist. So you can see me there. That's me holding this whip, just about to pop this balloon on top of a person's head. I'm doing this like in some random festival in some random place in Poland called Lublin. Um, and that's what I do. So I've been performing for the last 13 years around the world in many different street corners and many different festivals. I've been to more or less 45 different countries, doing my passion and my job. And um, for the time that I spent here in the Philippines, I also was the resident magician in Remington Hotel in Resorts World. And also, I do a lot of magic and entertainment in the bars and clubs in the metro. So you might have seen me in Dr. Wine, 71 Gramercy, all these places. I've done magic to many different celebrities. If you can see in the upper left, that's Julia Barreto. On the right, that's Apple Diab and Bea Alonso here on the ground right. But really, my passion in magic and entertainment lie more in street performing. I love the rawness of the street. It's because when you go into the street, I guess I can say that I just love it when people don't expect entertainment or laughter. They're just going through their day and they see like, hey, what's this guy doing? And then all of a sudden they see a great show and they decide to stay, watch, and pay. So I love the rawness of it. I love the feedback, the quick feedback that you get from this type of craft and this type of art. Um, it's because if they didn't like your show, then they would just simply walk away. So it makes you feel very um it, it makes you good very fast because the feedback is raw and authentic. Um, so that's what I love about street performing. I'm here to talk to you about adversity. Now, we had teacher Martin sharing, so I will be adding to a little bit on that because me and Martin and also Spider have been working on things for a few years now, really. First thing is name it to tame it. So we have to know that it's there and we have to recognize it. So, what is adversity? These are difficulties, misfortunes, pain and suffering, or challenges, fear of uncertainty, and unknown barriers. The obstacles can be emotional, physical, financial, or social. It tests a person's resilience and ability to cope. And there's a quote here which brings to light the importance of recognition, awareness, and mindfulness. It says that understanding and recognizing adversity is the first step to overcome it and turn stressful situations into opportunities for growth and healing. What I'm about to talk to you today is my biggest adversity and how I overcame it with resilience. In September 9, 2016, I was assaulted, blinded, left for dead. I became the victim of a vicious assault that that um, that ended in me being in a hospital, blinded in one eye for the next 11 days. So if you can see here, with my mouse over here. That's a picture that was taken of me when I was attacked and I finally got to the hospital and it really did seem like I was dead. So what had happened was a 16-year-old kid by the name of Luke Byrne, this guy over here on the bottom right. He attacked me with five of his other friends. So I was 2 minutes away from home and two guys came from the front. Luke Byrne, he came from behind with a bottle and smashed it in my face, so I couldn't see him. And that, long story short, ended me inside the ambulance. I remember in the ambulance, they were the paramedics. They were giving me the test. They were giving me the test about my eyesight. It's like how many fingers am I holding up in my hand? So he covered the right eye, and then I was like, four, two, one. And then they covered the left eye, and I couldn't see anything. And that's when I sort of knew that I had lost my eyesight. What happened next was they got a flashlight, and then they started checking my eye again, and I could see the light in my left eye. But in the right eye, I was still on the fence about it. I still had hope. I said, I think I can. But inside, I sort of knew what had happened. It wasn't until 3 days in the hospital that they told me that I was never going to see again with my right eye. And that's when the depression started. I shut down I was in a public hospital. There's many people around me in the same room. Um, the, the barriers were only curtains around me. They shut the curtains and I cried the whole day. And that's when my healing journey started, and that's when my depression started. So what had happened was um, I started to think and started to bring about my traumas from what had happened, the shock. I was a two-eye person, and all of a sudden I was a one-eye person looking like this. As you can see, there's even damage on my left eye over here in the very side. So if it were just a few millimeters on the right, then I would have been completely blinded. So I was traumatized by this. I was depressed. I had a lot of stress and resentments. I was angry at the person who had attacked me. I had many regrets. I blame myself for being in that situation, for walking that path. I had ruminations, worry, and anxiety. So in my heart, in my body, I was full of what you call in this house we called it bags. So this is an acronym for blame, anger, guilt, and shame. And these are the issues that weigh us down from living our best life. The aftermath of my assault. This is what happened to me. I had a negative self-image. I was unmotivated, unfulfilled. If at first I was seeing magic shows around the world, doing my dream and living my dream, all of a sudden I was so weak, fatigued, mentally drained. I, I couldn't do anything. So now I have many limitations because I'm a one-eyed person. The first one is my scope of vision. Of course, I can't see in the side. I have blind spots. The next is my depth perception. So catching, aiming becomes very difficult. Um, and these are my limitations, and these are the limitations I still have. You get better through time at um, covering those or managing those limitations, but it's always there. But at the start, when the shock was also set in, it became very hard to do anything. I was living in fear and lack. I feared that I have lost my life. I fear that my dreams have been stolen from me, and that I fear living in this uncertainty and this weakness. And I felt lacking because I did not feel complete. And I had very negative thinking, the feeling that life is unfair, dealings with grief and loss, all the way till thoughts of death and suicide. I remember thinking at the highest point of my depression, it's better to be dead rather than to live as less of myself. Or it's better to be dead than to live in fear all the time, the fear and pain that I was experiencing when I was in the hospital. I also became more withdrawn. If I was more extroverted before and I entertained everybody, always had a big smile on my face. That was my passion and dream, to make people laugh and smile. I became withdrawn because of the way I looked and also the way I felt. I felt lacking. And before, I love to share stories. Now, everybody only asks me about my trauma and what had happened. And that's the last thing that I wanted to talk about, because every time that you talk about the traumas in your life, then you're bringing them back to surface. I became overwhelmed and reactive. So where to start, how to heal? So very important to say this to you. I felt those things when I was in the thick of it. But I don't feel like that anymore. Right now, um, we're making that we're making steps into healing, and we're talking about steps to where to start to turn this traumatized man, this left for dead man, to this guy who's having fun in the ice bath with rubber duckies, big smile again, and back to performing magic around the world and making people laugh and smile. So the first thing, the most important thing, is to build your toolkit. So there are many toolkits that you can have in your toolbox. So these are just toolkits and the different modalities that I've used to heal myself and to feel more better, to get rid of those bags, the baggage, blame, anger, guilt, and shame, so that you can step into the life that you really want. And so First, for me, was building of spiritual practices. So prayer, meditation, gratitude, and mindfulness. So learning how to pray, learning how to meditate, the breath work, which Spider, Coach Reeve, Martin, we all actually combined, and we are all united by the breath. Because if you can control your mind, if you can control your breath, then you can control your mind. If you do not control your mind, then the mind will control you. So we start with something that we all have, which is the breath. And then practice of gratitude, to be able to see things, your life, your present moment, the blessings in it, instead of the things that you don't have. So that counters feeling this lack and fear. And of course, mindfulness and recognition, awareness. So there's some things to recognize, some things to be mindful of. The first thing is that there are three aspects of reality. Now, what does this mean? So this is three aspects of reality by Dr. Phil Stutz. If you guys have Netflix, you can watch the documentary on Phil Stutz. It's a very good one and highly recommended. Anyway, he says that there are three aspects of reality, meaning that these are part of reality. You cannot take this away from him. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what situation you have in your life, how old you are, as long as you live in this life, these are the three aspects of reality. First is there will always be pain. Second, there will always be uncertainty. And third, there is always going to be this constant work because of this pain and uncertainty. Because of that, we start to realize and recognize the importance of training resilience. I'm a resilience coach. This is what we talk about all the time. What is resilience? The synonyms are toughness and grit. It is the ability to withstand pressures, pain, challenges, and changes that life brings. Now, the very important thing about resilience or training resilience is that we cannot train toughness in a comfortable environment. I'll let that sink in just a little bit. We cannot train toughness in a comfortable environment. So all of a sudden, this picture on the right side, it starts to make sense. That's me coming out of an ice bath, putting myself through the freezing cold, because we cannot train toughness in a comfortable environment. Next is that it says here that if you are willing to do only what's easy, this one's from T. Harv Eker, life will be hard. But if you're willing to do what's hard, then life will be easy. So putting yourself in an uncomfortable environment becomes our training. And it is doing the hard things in this life. The next one is to recognize that there are two types of suffering: unchosen suffering and chosen suffering. This is from Mr. David Coggins. He says that unchosen suffering is that things will happen in your life. The shit will hit the fan. Excuse the language. So that's what he says. So things will happen, people will die, heartbreaks will happen, you will die too. These are all inevitabilities and realities, and we have to deal with those unchosen sufferings in our life. The only way, he says, that we can train to flow through those unchosen sufferings, to receive those unchosen sufferings with grace, is with chosen suffering. It's why we elect to do things that are very difficult for us, like the ice baths, like the kettlebell swings, those things that we do in the gym that almost torture us. We do that because we are preparing for the unchosen suffering in our life. So the thing about this, the insight about this is that when you're going through adversities, the thing that makes you more confident at being able to succeed going through an adversity is if you have gone through a hard adversity in the past. It builds your character, it strengthens your mettle, and it makes you that much more capable to take on the adversities, those unchosen sufferings. Example for me is what had happened to me and this, how I had lost my eye. So all of a sudden, it's like anything that will happen in the future that comes, I'm ready to step into it because I went through a very difficult time in the past and I've gone through it. If I can get through that, then I can get through anything. So this is what I meant. The next building your toolkit is the utilizing somatic practices. Now, what is somatic practice? Somatic practices are practices that aim to put your mind into your body. So movement exercises, the thing is feeling is understanding. So there's no need to think. So things that practices that put your body to use so your mind shuts off. So the thing that we do in Sagara Sons and we do all in common is called immersion therapy, the ice bath sessions. How does this work? It's because it's super cold in there, and that is the only thing that you can think of when you put yourself in that situation. So if you had timelines, problems, if you had um, deadlines, conflicts, relationship problems, for those 4 minutes or those minutes that you are inside the ice bath, that just simply just goes away because all of a sudden it's so cold in there and you need every breath to survive those moments and to learn how to be comfortable in that discomfort and to accept it into your life. And all of a sudden, the mind stops and you start to be more focused and present. Okay. Qigong and yoga also have been a very great tool that centers me and puts my body to work so my mind can shut down. The next one is building of support systems and community, which brings us to this podcast and to what we're trying to do in Sagara Sons. Family and friends were there for me, life coaching, talk therapies. For so many hours, me and Martin and Spider have been talking about all these things. And I have a group of friends. Reef is here too to process me, to help me unpack the things, to make ideas into things that will that the ideas to the actionable things that I can do in my life to help me. Self-help books were also very invaluable. Um, and this is just some of the community building that we've done through the 3 years that Sagara has been formed and I've been practicing. Community building is first is here, Breathwork PH. So Reef's Breathwork PH. Sagara House of Breath and Ice, that's the trainings that we do, the teacher trainings. If ever you're interested in Himalayan breathing practices to teach that, or the cold immersion therapy that we do. We also have Teacher Mosh and Teacher Nella at Soul Speak Yoga, Mindfulness. If you are interested in any workshops in the metro or simply retreats around the Philippines. We have also Oka Collective, which is our studio that's currently being built by February. It will be built and it's in BGC. So stay tuned to that. There will be amazing group of teachers and also amazing facilities that you can all use if you are into that recovery and yoga. And there's Holy Fit and Om Shanti immersion retreats as well. But very important that none of these tools can work if you don't have the right lifestyle changes. So sleep, nutrition, exercise, and daily practice is very important and key. Last but not least, I am a magician. So first and foremost. So I couldn't end this talk without talking about magic in this life. We call it in this world alchemy and transmutation. In life coaching, we can call it reframing. So, what does it actually mean? Now, I just wanted to say that I'm probably the most skeptical yoga teacher or spiritual guy that you'll ever have because of my past. I do magic for a living. I know how things work, and I use trickery to make things work. But I'm probably also the most hopelessly romantic about magic because I actually became a magician and I've been doing that for many, many years. So I've have been searching for magic in this life. And I found it through our practices. I found it through our community building, and I'll explain it to you. What does it mean to alchemize, to transmute, or to reframe? It's simply turning hay into gold, but right now it's turning stress into healing, making weaknesses your biggest strengths, sufferings into learning and growth, transmuting fear into empowerment, and transmuting what was once tragic to something that's magic. So the power of sharing stories and opening up. So if I were the story that had happened to me, the thing that happened to me when I was blinded is a negative story. But though, if I share my story with one person and that one person gains inspiration, motivation, if that person gains a lesson from it, then all of a sudden that negative story that had happened to me becomes a positive one. This is alchemy and transmutation. So if you can think about it in that way, when we start to do these webinars, when we start to build the community, when we start to do the ice bath sessions, when we go to Sagara's Sons, all of this is transmuting this pain and suffering that I went to make it something that's empowering to the community, to the world. And that also makes me feel amazing and fulfilled. And that's a mission that I have and I would like to share. So I wanted to end with this, and I wanted to say thank you so much um, for having me. Thank you so much for allowing me to transmute those things that that did me harm, the negative stories and experience that I had into something that's positive. Thank you for having me and thank you for creating this space. Back to you, Reef.
Teacher Mark, thank you so much. Grabe. Guys, let's give him a round of applause by chatting. Thank you, Teacher Mark. Thank you, Teacher Mark.
Thanks,
Uh,
guys. Thank you.
Grabe. I had to type that down too. Woo! Bless you, my brother. Thank you. I'm so glad we have you in our life. Uh, you're you're absolutely a heart-centered human being. You inspire me, and I'm sure these people you inspired today as well. And I hope you guys would emanate whatever you learned or resonated with Teacher Mark here. Thank you for sharing us your story. Um, from here, I guess, guys, is there any question you have for Teacher Mark specifically for now? Back then when when I first attended this ice bath event at KMC, where I first met Teacher Mark personally. We've been talking online. That's how we met. Puro kami video call. We haven't met personally yet. But then at that time, the I don't know how to explain it. But then this just this warmth. There's this warmth, so I want to appreciate you for that, Teacher Mark. Maybe um I'm sure no one's 100% every day, but I'm happy to have that kind of person, which is you, who inspire me to bring warmth, or emanate warmth, and safety for people who I welcome in my life, or just simply encounter.
Thank you so much, brother. Mirror that wholeheartedly. You do the same for me, man.
Cheers,
Yeah.
cheers.
Oh, we have a question here.
Teacher
Pam,
Pam, yeah.
Maya,
Sure.
which advice would you give to guys starting this healing journey now and they are feeling lost? Oh, that's a great question. So, in one of the slides, it says there where to start. Really is the start is educating yourself and in and equipping yourself with these different tools that we had talked about in the slides. So the first step really into to being able to heal or to grow is or to grow in your weaknesses is to recognize and be aware that there is a weakness. There are these feelings. So this is where to start this awareness. I hope that answered your question.
Amazing.
There's a question from Matcha.
This is
What's the
beautiful.
what's the first thing in your toolkit that you reach when you feel like things are going south? The first thing is the breath. So we all share that in common. It's because when things are hitting hitting the fan, what we do is we feel overwhelmed and uncontrolled. So we focus on things that we can control. And the breath is always something there, and it's always uh, we can bring awareness to, and we can start to control that, and all of the other things will start to happen. Teacher Spider, he taught us some down-regulating techniques.
Yeah.
So usually when you feel reactive and overwhelmed, then the breathing becomes shallow, start to palpitate, and then the thinking starts to go south as well. So first is pause, respond instead of react. Then Coach Reef has been um, teaching us also through practice how to kind of ground and how to kind of just pause. So taking a few breaths, maybe we can do it now. Just to answer this question is just taking a comfortable sitting situation, comfortable position, and then just taking a deep breath into the belly, and then taking just another one, squeezing this one, hold, and then releasing, relaxing, with a little sigh. That's it. So we do it 2 or 3 times, breathing into the belly nice and full. And then just one more time, just to secure the deal. Squeezing the tight hold and just simply letting go. And one last one into the belly nice and full. All the way up. And little sigh, little smile. And that is a very strong tool to shift your state and from a state of panic and reactiveness to something like, okay, it's okay to respond to the situation. It's okay to pause. There's no need to hurry about things. What can we do now? How can we make things better from them? I hope that answers your question. Thank you for it.
Thank you for that question, Matcha, and thank you, Coach Mark, for leading us through that. We actually all needed that after a little while of sitting, no, and so much profound stories, and we've been resonating with each and every one of you. So thank you, Coach Spider, Coach Martin, Teacher Mark. I'm going to invite everyone now to um, hear us out because we've been preparing something very, very awesome for you guys. So for like I said a while ago, what we're trying to do here is to invite people over to what we have going on. And for December 14 and 15, we're inviting every person to really immerse in this all of these wellness practices that we teach, and maybe even devise your own particular program that just is for you, not like the blanket solutions for other people, although that works and it's already powerful for a lot of people. Attending in this retreat, this 1 day retreat, will have you memorize or really understand what practice it is for you to do this. If this happens, what do I do in the morning? What do we do in the afternoon? How about digestion? How about stress? How about sleep? How about anxiety? How about focus and productivity? How about ice bathing? Can I do that on my own? All of these things will be answered in that retreat. And I know I've mentioned that this retreat costs 36,450, but we want to give you guys a gift and give you guys kind of an appreciation for your support, and we'll give you this crazy offer. So stay tuned as I pinpoint to you everything that you will learn in the retreat, and then see this amazing offer that our generous coaches wanted you to have. So in the retreat, you will understand and you will immerse, you will get exercises to get optimal breathing into your system. We were not taught how to breathe, and that's why it's kind of absurd why we have to teach breathing when it's so innate. But the thing is, breathing is a double-edged sword. If you're breathing wrong, you may be promoting your own stress, and by that you may be promoting a hidden disease or a heart attack to waiting to happen. Like, for example, if you do not address your snoring or sleep apnea immediately, that actually affects your heart negatively. So things like that in optimal breathing generally increases greatly your quality of life. 360 breathing, something you will learn as well, more and more of a clasped, a merged relationship with your mind and your body, your muscles and your breathing. You need to understand how your body is naturally expanding, compressing in terms of functional movement when walking, when doing exercise, when sleeping, for posture, for driving, for even when you're stressed. So 360 breathing is all about that. That said, even going further with mobility, you want to learn how to open up your neck, your shoulders, your hips, your elbows, your knees, your ankles, all of that, so you can keep moving like you're 20 years old. And these practices we should not sleep on, because the years keep going by, time does not wait for anyone, and mobility is just right around the corner. And then here is something very important, but everyone overlooks. It's called down regulation. Our nervous system has two responses. It's fight or flight mode and rest and digest. When you're in fight or flight mode, you are up-regulated. When you're in rest and digest, you are down-regulated. Because of what this misaligns us every day, we naturally now by default go to an upregulated nervous system almost 24/7. We need that for survival. We need fight or flight mode for survival. But then when we come home and actually try to sleep, why can't we fall asleep immediately? This is because by repetition every day, not being able to downregulate our nervous system, it's keeping our nervous system, even while we're trying to sleep, upregulated, and that's why we cannot sleep. And so these tools, that exactly what Coach Spider taught you this morning earlier, is that how to downregulate your nervous system, which is very useful for quality rest. Next, this one is one of my favorites: emotional alchemy. No one is immune to negative experiences. Everyone experiences something. But then, how then can we decrease the amount of negative experiences and increase the amount of positive experiences? The great thing with emotional alchemy is, maybe today you have 90% of all of your experiences negative. Maybe it's trained that way. But emotional alchemy is there so you can use those negative experiences to be your power. So from overwhelm, you will then overflow. Next, life coaching modules. This is very much overlooked as well. Life coaching is actually the secret of all of the people you look up to right now. They just don't say it. Because life coaching is basically achieving success but not alone, and having a mentor. it's that powerful, and makes it makes you realize that also you need to stop chasing success, or you need to stop living success on your own. You actually go further and further and further if you're not alone. You can go fast if you're alone, but if you to go further and last long and really make it, and until for you to be able to say this is all time tested, this is what life coaching is all about. Next is connection navigation. Connection navigation is that if this is my personality, if this is the people I am surrounded with, how then do I navigate and connect to these people? How then do I connect with myself first? Which one should I prioritize at this specific moment? At this specific moment, these are things that our mind continuously solve without us knowing. And so, if you think that your connection and how you navigate through life is not so that it's so effective in a way, or giving yourself a safe space to be yourself, this non-acceptance, then connection navigation will solve that for you. Of course, a morning routine. Devise your own morning routine. Which works best for you? Do you want to work out in the morning, or should you have that after? Would it be breathing first? Would it be yoga? Would it be meditation? Would it be to just be silent? There are different practices that fit each other's personalities and just simply desires as well, and mood and energy. But it also has some questions to be answered. What am I going to do for today? Who do I want to be? Who am I already? That would best fit this morning routine that I can do. Oh, and of course, one of my favorites as well, ice bath sessions. Like what teacher Mark has said, you cannot, basically, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. So you want to train in an environment that does the opposite, that doesn't comfort you, that you have to find it for yourself. So I'm showing you all of these so you would understand what you would learn. And if you find in your head that this is for you, or you find someone that you also want to be in this space of learning all of these things: optimal breathing, 360 breathing, mobility, down regulation, down to ice bath sessions, guided by these three coaches that spoke before you. I would like you guys to take into consideration the amazing benefits of all of these. It's completely life-changing. I want to share with you the prices right now. I'm sharing the prices of all of these to you, just to give justice to when we said it costs 36,450. But like we said, and like I said, these coaches have a generous, very, very generous offer for you today. It's so funny because they want to split it more than half. It's just 14,000 for this full retreat. Everything provided, and you're gonna learn all of these things. Everything is provided, and it's a beautiful place in Silang, Cavite. To be surrounded by nature like that and learning all of these things that will change your life and empower every person that will be that you surround yourself with. But another thing would be this 14,000 for as a cost for the retreat. They also slash that. Why? Because people want to do this and learn this with someone else, or like your buddy, or like your accountability partner, just like the environment of support that we want to create here. And so, to close it all off, they said, okay, 14,000, but for 2 people. So go ahead and find your person, the person you want to experience this with, to learn all of these things with. 14,000 pesos for both of you already. So that's 7,000 per person for everything included in a retreat. You're learning all of those things, all of these things priced originally at 36,450 slash to 14,000, and then 14,000 for two people. That's 7,000 per person at Silang Cavite. You have nothing to worry about because you're in good hands with Coach Martin, Teacher Mark, and Coach Spider. And yeah, that is it. Find the link if you want to share it to your partner, to your buddy, to yourself, or a family member you want to experience this with. Go ahead, send the link. The coaches should be sharing that down below in our chat box. And yeah, this is now the time that we open the space for more question and answer. It can be for the retreat, it can be about this webinar, about more wellness practices, or if you want to go back to what any of the coaches have mentioned in the tools that they have shared. But once again, thank you, everyone. I encourage you. I really hope to see you there in the retreat. Coaches, I am pinning all of you so we could answer anyone's questions.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Reef.
Thanks, Reeve. Thanks, guys.
Please
I'll
share
add-
some love to all the people and the coaches over here. I want to say thank you, Coach Mark. I want to say thank you, Coach Martin, Coach Spider. Go ahead, share your love. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
I'll just
Thanks
for
add
making
the
it
forms
over,
everyone.
That's amazing.
Yes, Coach Spider and Teacher Mark to Pam's question
If
for guys.
anyone has questions, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, guys who want to start their healing journey now and they feel lost. I would say sign up for Sagara Sons. So why? One of the ways I got answers was by exposure. So it's just putting myself in a place where I can meet a mentor, someone who resonates with me or just shows me awareness. The best way I got awareness is through mirroring. Meaning I met someone who was fucked up and I realized I just started admitting it. Like I'm not the only guy going through depression. And I say it this way because no one talks that way normally. Not in my family, not among my friends, not in my workplace. So when I attended a Tony Robbins seminar, I felt like I wasn't crazy. So yeah, sign up and you might, meet someone who you resonate with. Find the one who you match with, who helps you, and then go from there. There you go. I'll pass it on to the other coaches.
We have a question too down here by
From
Matcha.
Okay, Matcha said, will this retreat happen again in the future? I'll be out of the country on those dates. This is actually going to be our first. So yeah, as Teacher Mark said, we're looking for interest. We're hoping so. So if you do have a friend, Matcha, then maybe, and you feel that it would help him or her, you could start there. You might be a blessing to that person. And then we pray to hold one for you as well in the future.
Thank you. Anyone else out there who would like to share some love, share some questions? You're more than welcome to do so. Or maybe someone's already signing up. That's why they're not.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
that's the one. That's the case.
Ganyan.
Oh yeah, we'll clarify. So Matcha said sorry. Also, I just noticed it says men's retreat. So in the updated poster, it's actually, there should be a sign that says open for all. So I believe Reef's promo just covered it up. Because he gave you a special offer that slashed the price in half. But there should be it should say open for all. There we go. Teacher Mark.
Thank you. coaches, anything you wanted to add back there? Supporting whatever the other coach have mentioned.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Spider.
Just want to say thank you to everyone that came. Really appreciate you guys kind of hearing each of us speak about the medium of optimization of wellness that we teach. And if it resonates with you, happy to be able to resonate with you. And also, yeah, looking forward to more conversations like this. I think these are very important to have, and to be able to kind of consistently have a community. I think community is a big thing, that you're not alone with whatever you're going through. So yeah, that's about it.
So I second Coach Spider's motion. Thank you, Chino, Eric, Matcha, Rochelle, and Victor. So we hope you got something good from this that you could apply in your life right after. An idea, a lesson, a tool, as Mark teaches us. Build your own toolkit. Yeah, and if it helped you, you could share this also with someone else. Yeah, by the way, even after this webinar, feel free to reach out to any of the coaches, Teacher Mark, Coach Reef, Coach Spider, myself. Our doors are very open to help you if you do reach out. So, yeah, peace and blessings, Chino.
You guys see me? Am I waving? All right, because I can't
Akala
see
ko ganito.
myself.
Because we were seeing just your thumb.
I can't see myself. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
can
you guys
see you.
making over.
All right, we are opening
Yeah.
it for until 2 more minutes, and then we'll close this webinar. Everyone, thank you, Eric, Victor, Chino, Matcha, Rochelle. Some people were here a while ago, and some people were late, but we appreciate everyone who came through. Grabe. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for the support. Share the word, and then just breathe better. That's ultimately what we want you to live with. Thriving, not surviving.
So there's a question by Matcha to everyone.
Oh,
I have a question. Do any of the coaches have their favorite breathwork wellness app?
An app.
my favorite is Breathwork Philippines app. De joke lang. Pa-launch pa lang.
Download it.
May app
Breathwork.
ba kayo, Reef? You guys are...
We're launching it next year.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the works. Yes.
Very good.
But to answer realistically, I'm using Insight Timer.
Okay.
Insight Timer.
Yeah.
Insight Time.
For me, don't really have an app for the breathwork practices. I do it mano practice all the time. Lead myself, I guess.
Yeah, my answer for matcha is it's the Ujjayi breath. And if you want to learn that, a deep dive, sign up for the Sagara teacher training of Mark.
Or just a
That's
session. That's how we do sessions here. We do drop-in sessions, and we'll teach you the effective breathing techniques that they do. Or you can also sign up with um, Coach Spiderweb. He teaches a lot of oxygen advantage breathing techniques. Is that right, brother?
You're correct. I was just about to hop on that and say that uh, I I don't use the app as much. I used to because now I kind of just I know like how to take index of what I need for that day. But the Oxygen Advantage, if you know the methodology app, is really good to use. So if I can teach you like the principles of it, you can use the app for logging down like where you're at in a certain time. You're taking index of because it's different. It varies different from day to day. You know, some days you'll have um, okay, I'm getting too far into it. Let's just say the Oxygen Advantage app. Check it out. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Oxygen advantage. I'm gonna write that down. Which
Mhm.
spider?
Wow. Before, I used to use the Wim Hof method app also. So,
Same. I did as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wim Hof method.
That's awesome.
So putting it here in the chat.
Other ship, and I really recommend it.
Okay. We're closing it in a bit. Thank you.
Thank you
Other ship.
guys.
Thank you, Matcha.
Other ship. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Matcha's app. Thank you.
We'll check that out. Actually, I'm interested.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Matcha.
Matcha.
Thank you, everyone.
Michelle.
Eric.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Victor.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Eric.
Eric. Thank you, Matra. Thank
Thank you,
you,
guys are
Matcha.
champs.
Thank you, Eric.
Rochelle.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Congratulations,
you, Victor.
guys.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Okay.